Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe and Ryan.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
I'm your super awesome host, Joe Wakefield.
And I am your pretty cool host, Ryan Lang.
It's just a side of your modesty.
I'm like, I see.
Excellent. Well, so for those of you joining us for the first time, what we do here is a little bit of the spooky, a little bit of the creepy. Sometimes we cover a cryptid. Other times we talk about ghosts or legends or a mystery. But it's always spooky.
Yeah.
Then our next segment is a little thing we like to call Disclosure Discussion. That's all about aliens.
I'm just asking questions. Alien stories, UFO sightings, videos, photos, interdimensionals, time travel.
What do you know, government?
That kind of stuff.
Tell us!
Tell us now. What are they hiding?
What? And then the latter half of the show is dedicated to the entertainment industry. So sometimes it's movie news, other times it's celebrity deaths, or what's happening in the world of music. Maybe we'll do a trivia game, but it's all entertainment, and that's those two things together, our spooky and our entertainment. Put together is our show, Earthling Entertainment. Enjoy the Oreo of goodness, which is our podcast. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for listening.
Yes, so this weekend was the Homecoming Carnival, which is a carnival that our hometown does every year. They've done it since the 70s. It is the second time I've been able to bring my kid, because the first time he was, I don't know, like 2 months old. And I'm going around. He's about a year and a half or whatever. Okay, so I guess they would be like 6 months old. But anyways, So now he's, almost 2, halfway there. And I want to take him on a ride, and I realized, you can't. I can't even take him on the big slide yet. I was like, I'll just hold him and go down the slide. They're like, no. It's probably liability or something.
Yeah, and
it's not like I was trying to put the kid on a Gravitron at one.
Not yet.
But that would be the best time.
It would.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Gravitron is that carnival ride that spins around and you get stuck to the side due to gravity. Now, I think my kid can walk pretty good. So if he was a master of a Gravitron at like 2, if he could like walk on the walls, we've set him up for life. He is either going to be a superhero or be really good at doing vintage 80s styles music videos.
Doing like engaged gravity training. That's like he'll be a Super Saiyan. Like that's like Goku. That's Goku style training there.
I don't know enough about Dragon Ball Z to really like jump on that thread, but I think the military at least might like look into it and be like, all right, he's training his super soldier. This kid is going to be the next Captain America.
But back to the fair, to the homecoming fair. I feel like we were so lucky because I feel like when we were younger, it was like it wasn't that crazy. It was like people who were local went, and it wasn't so crazy. Now I feel like everybody in like a 50-mile radius is showing up to this thing. It was a madhouse when I went.
So I went Sunday.
I went Sunday as well, and it was crazy. Like, cause I think I went late. I think you were there way early.
Yeah, I was there at like noon.
Yeah, I got there I think 4 or 5 o'clock. So you were probably gone.
Yeah, probably. Well, anyways, it wasn't crazy that early. It was 92 degrees, so it was
It was hot.
Okay. Yeah.
And on Saturday night, All American Rejects played, and I haven't
at the fair.
And I haven't heard that name in forever.
I mean, no offense to any band, but like you're playing, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw people posting about it, like, so I guess we're going to the fair to go see All American Rejects. Let's do it.
All right. Well, stepping it up, Dearborn, or stepping it down, All American Rejects. Either way. Yeah. Either way.
Win-win.
All right, guys. So with that, it brings us to our first segment of the show. And this is I don't know if we'd call it a cryptid. It's definitely a monster from Japanese folklore. And prepare yourself for our first segment we like to call Spooky Stuff.
Jorogumo, the Spider Woman. The culture of Japan is sometimes cute or terrifying.
There's no middle.
There's no freaking middle.
You're either going to look at these adorable giant eyes and melt, or you're going to look at these adorable giant teeth and die.
Yes. Indeed.
Sometimes both.
Some urban myths tell scary stories about Japanese oni demons, vengeful yuri ghosts, or monsters with sharp fangs and teeth. Jorogumo is a demonic creature belonging to Japanese folklore. It is a yokai spirit whose body is that of an attractive woman and limbs that of a killer spider. Like many other yokai, Japanese spirits, monsters, and supernatural phenomena, the Jorogumo is connected to a real animal, the Jorogumo spider. Known as the Joro spider internationally, it is a species of golden orb weaver spider. It's usually small and timid. Most specimens reach only a few centimeters in length. However, their bodies are colorful, their webs are strong, and a particular large Joro spider can become large enough to trap and eat small birds.
And they're not too hard on the eyes either.
That's right.
Those are some saucy-looking spiders.
Like, evidently. Yeah.
Eating birds.
That is a hot spider eating birds right now.
Eating birds is horrifying because, like, all right, so what's a small bird? Even a hummingbird. That's too big of a spider.
That is too big of a spider, Joe.
Yeah.
I agree. The Jorogumo yokai shares many of these traits.
I like your enough said.
Enough said. But turned up to the extreme, its true form is an absolutely enormous spider, large enough to prey on humans. Like other yokai, Jorogumo are shapeshifters, and they often disguise themselves as beautiful women. Unlike these trickster spirits, Jorogumo are predatory, and their beauty, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
When it reaches 400 years of life, her anatomy changes dramatically. Her form evolves, and she transforms into a beautiful and attractive woman. She stops feeding on insects and begins to only devour humans.
That'd be kind of funny, though, if she became a beautiful, attractive woman, but still only ate insects. You're just, like, on a date with this beautiful Japanese girl, and she just suddenly just, like, looks back and forth and just, like, pulls a beetle out of her purse and just eats it. She's like, shh.
You said beautiful? A beautiful one?
Yes.
It's like, not a deal breaker. So she likes her protein.
So if there's I think it's more intriguing to have an ugly person who's like on a date and just pulling bugs out of their purse and eating it. Here's why.
That would be really, really terrifying.
It would be, but my God, what confidence.
If you're going to eat bugs.
She's sitting there and she's like, I don't even care. I'm going to close the deal tonight. You just wait and just eat munching on bugs. It's like, oh my God.
Just to say you did.
I'm just attracted to how certain she was. Next thing I know, my pants were off.
You know, it's a good story to tell, but can I say, if you're going to eat bugs, it would really help if you were pretty, I guess. You know, like you could just shove it off to, all right, so maybe they're just like really like future oriented. You know, you hear about cricket burgers coming our way, shit like that. It's like, well,
I'm sick of living in a world where all the pretty people get away with everything, Ryan.
Well, let's face it.
Okay,
you know,
I should be able to be ugly and eat bugs.
Well, I guess that would be actually more likely too, right? So it's like we have this weird societal bias that like it's like the person was eating bugs and and the person was also hot. Like would be like the reporter. Like everybody like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
that's interesting.
It's like that is a disgusting story. She's attractive. What a weird new age technique. Let's talk about.
Like it's kind of like South Park. And how they had, like, when the teacher was, like, sleeping with, like, the kid, and they're like, and the weird thing is the teacher is pretty hot, Tom. Like, even South Park knew. So, back into the story with these guys.
Yeah, there's no jumping off platform when we talk to them about that.
Well, it's South Park, come on.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, South Park.
She attracts to her nests young men in search of one-night stands. This spider demon attracts young men with her beauty and the melodious music of what is called a biwa. And I actually have an example of a biwa.
Yeah, so Ryan and I were interested because, you know, this is a biwa, a Japanese instrument.
So it's like this is turning you on. Like this gets these boys going.
I don't know about you, but that makes me horny for spiders.
I'm just saying. Spin me up, baby.
Is it too much to name the episode Horny for Spiders?
I think that's what it's going to have to be. It's like, oh yeah, play that biwa. arachnid of my desires.
Bwah? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like just a sound someone makes when they're startled.
It's coming for me, and I don't mind.
It feels very traditional. It is funny that, like, can you imagine someone bopping their head? Like, that is some seductive music. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, all right. It's like, guys, evidently I'm losing all my blood, and I don't even care.
Well,
I wonder where it's going.
I don't know that. Well, there you go.
So when this Japanese creature is about to eat, it abandons its human form and transforms into a gigantic spider. Its size can reach 2 meters high. Its legs join to form its abdomen. These spiders are solitary creatures that live in the bowels of forests, in remote caves, or in abandoned houses far from society. The Jorogumo are highly intelligent, cunning, and heartless beings.
Except Sarah. She's a bit of a dumbass, but the rest, cunning creatures.
She's a very generous dumbass. She contributes to society.
Yeah, well, she remembered the seducing people into one-night stands, but forgot all about the eating them. She's just a spider floozy.
She plays the biwa for children.
Biwa?
Biwa. These heartless beings with no feelings, but they have an insatiable hunger. During the Edo period, it was very common to hear stories about a beautiful woman who lured men into her hiding place. Then the woman would begin to play her biwa, bringing a beautiful melody to life. This music had the ability to hypnotize her victim as she enveloped him in her powerful web.
Yeah, I can see it.
From which it was almost impossible to escape, so maybe some did. In addition to their web, these Japanese spirits possess a deadly venom, which slowly weakens their prey. They eat men in the quietest of ways. Sometimes their victims are used for incubation of their future offspring.
See, that's always the creepiest when you get some kind of alien situation where your chest explodes with 1,000 baby spiders crawling out. You know what they
Like
did?
The Mist.
The Mist. I was just gonna say they did a really good creepy spider situation.
I can feel them. Oh yeah. Or they keep their human for a future meal.
Num 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 human.
They just put you in like big Tupperware.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Because you know that you have the Tupperware when you go to school and then it's like shaped like the piece of bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine like a human-shaped Tupperware, like a little anthropomorphic plastic bin?
So I guess it'd just be
It
a
kinda
coffin.
well, no, because it's gonna have to have the arms and legs, like
Yeah.
a straight up, like a chalk outline version of a plastic.
Or it could
bin.
be like the shape of an Oscar, you know, like just arms crossed.
Arms crossed like Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah,
I don't know, man, because then we're just back to coffin shape. I think it's funnier if they're all spread out. You're just
that's
like,
true.
this is my Tupperware. Keep my little human in there.
Like like just like a weird chalk line outline of a person.
Oh my God, then this is perfect for marketing, dude. We could sell these Tupperwares based on like characters, like weird silhouette of like the Flash about to run, or a Pontiac symbol, and you get that Tupperware, put your human in there for lunch. You are set.
I'm
We
saying
gotta go to Japan and talk to these spider ladies.
the Jorogumo is a untapped market.
Oh my God.
And also about these Jorogumo giant spider ladies, they have the ability to control other spiders with their magic, either to detect the location of a new victim or to follow their trail. They also have the ability to spit acid, to burn the bones of their victims. This ability is used to cover their tracks if they ever feel threatened or know that they are in danger of being discovered.
So the ability to send spiders out, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's kind of like that movie Willard. There was an old version of it, and they made a newer one a few years ago.
Yes,
You can control
controlling
the rats.
The rats, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what else comes to mind is the video game BioShock, because at one point you had a power to shoot bees out of your arm.
Yes, that was actually one of my favorite ones.
See, no one ever does that in the movie, because I've seen images and cartoons and movies of the giant spider creature, the
Jorogumo.
the Jorogumo. But I have never seen them just point to someone and be like, spiders, and have like a flood of spiders envelop them like in the Mummy with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I'm here for it. No, I don't know why I was reminded of the Tenacious D movie where he's like snakes and he just shoots snakes out of his hand.
You know what? Maybe that's why. Maybe that was in the back of my head, and that's why.
So
I just
also,
think it's a cool power to be able to control spiders. That's all I'm saying.
I honestly, that would be a great power because like everybody's. Let's face it, if a whole pack of spiders, a group, whatever you call it, a gaggle of spiders is charging at you.
You know, it's just the more I learn about Japanese culture, they just have so many fun aspects of their folklore. And then, oh my God, I don't know if anything that they create folklore wise is even close to some of the video games and the JRPGs I've played. There's some other monsters we're going to have to find, bud.
Oh, and find them we shall. Stay tuned. Continuing on with the Jorogumo, they run very fast and they have great jumping power.
Oh, that sucks.
This allows them to corner their victim if they try to escape. She can also build large spider webs to make hunting easier. She is able to climb walls and has great stealth ability. You all right over there?
Yeah, it's not even going to work over the podcast because it's just a visual. But in my head, there's just this guy walking through the jungle bitching about his bad day. You know, shoelace breaks, trips, and then he just like stumbles and he hits a spider web. And he's like, oh, fuck. And he's stuck in a giant spider web.
That would be more than an oh fuck for me. Like
that image just popped in my head, and it really made me laugh. It's like, damn it!
Definitely don't fall into a giant spider web.
Oh, you know what's worse though is those trapdoor spiders. Can you imagine me
No,
walking
yes.
around in like just anywhere, a jungle, an alien planet, and then suddenly this like clump of dirt just lifts up, and he's like, "Hi, I'm gonna eat you now."
Dude,
and grabs
no.
you, pulls you in.
They're dude. Yeah, it reminds me of the scene from Eight-Legged Freaks when they went to the parking lot. The trapdoor spiders made them by the underneath the cars, so that when you went to get into your car, they would just grab you. They would.
Well, that's just very smart spiders.
Yeah. That movie.
Eight-Legged Freaks is a highly underrated movie.
That
David
was one of-
Arquette.
Amazing, honestly.
Do you remember Scarlett Johansson was in it?
Yeah, they took the classic big creature, like cheesy film, and they used at the time very modern day CGI. I would say like animation. Like I would say that it honestly kind of still holds up.
Well, it holds up because the tone of the movie is a comedy, so you're going to
Yes.
forgive the CGI a little bit more. That's why kids' movies still hold up 20 years later, is because it doesn't matter if Yogi Bear looks very good because he's an animated cartoon. But yeah, those spiders were scary.
You almost did it like Yogi Bear. He's an animated cartoon.
This is completely unrelated, but Dan Aykroyd played the voice of Yogi Bear in that Yogi Bear movie that came out in 2010. And you know what? Hot take, not bad. Just saying. Continue.
I had no idea. The Japanese legend tells that the only way to escape a Jorogumo is to love a person with all your heart. This way, it's impossible to fall under the spell of the seductive woman and her hypnotic music. But if your heart belongs to no one, there's also the possibility of killing her by throwing diatomite at her. This is a fossilized powder from an algae also called diatomite. The magic powder will totally dehydrate the whole body of the arachnid.
Yeah, just in case you have that just in your pocket.
I always do.
Yeah.
I always do. I always say. The Jorogumo are also afraid of fire, so you can burn them to
Everything's
kill them.
afraid of fire.
Well, yeah, it's a spider, right? That's classic.
Well, no, anything. Like anything
Yeah.
alive doesn't want to be burnt.
Pretty true.
Yeah.
Pretty true.
Yeah. I fight you to give me an example of something that's like, I don't mind.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I heard something about a volcanic snail, but I don't know if that was just an internet thing.
Next episode.
Next episode. It is said on Snails Talk. Whatever. Anyways, it is said.
No, we got to call it Following the Snail Trail.
Yeah.
Right? Now we actually have to have a snail thing.
Following the snail trail.
Yeah,
I
alright.
like
So
it.
we're going to look into this.
So it is said that the samurai of the Edo period tried to kill them with a sword or a stake. The weapon must pierce the thorax or abdomen of the beast. This is the most difficult way to kill them, as they are very powerful creatures. Another type of protection against these deadly creatures is to rub a mixture of mint leaf oil with lemon and a little water.
They got a lot of wives' tales.
They hate the smell.
They hate the
That's
smell.
it. They hate the smell.
Okay, that's not that bad. You can just make cologne out of that shit and just live in the woods and don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, are you wearing your? Yes, I'm wearing Jorogumo. That does sound like a cologne.
It does sound like a cologne. You know what? Just slightly off topic. Go figure. I always wondered why Elon Musk, love him or hate him, with the last name, why he never made a cologne. Think about it,
dude.
Musk.
100%. That's
look at that. Oh, you're so smart. Why didn't you do that?
Or if he was like, yeah, that is totally a missed opportunity right there. And
Thank you.
And it would sell out immediately because everybody would buy it. Like he's got so many, he sells out shit like that. So
yeah, he makes it like really awkwardly square with harsh angles and makes it like out of metal, and it'll be like reminiscent of his Teslas.
He would just call it X Musk. X Musk, because he loves X.
No, it's got to be Musk.
That's it, Musk X.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Copyright Earthling Entertainment. Just saying. That ever comes up, trademark.
I don't know if we can trademark a fragrance based on his name.
We'll see. There are several stories involving this mythological creature. This one is the most popular. A man was resting by a waterfall when he felt his feet were stuck to a powerful spider web. The man acted quickly and managed to escape. Back in his village, he warned them of the creature's presence. And then they named the creature the Jorogumo. Today, this fantastic being is very popular in Japanese pop culture. The spider Jorogumo has made appearances in television series such as Gravity Falls, which devoted an entire episode of the series to her, titled Roadside Attraction. Another mention of the character can be found in the series SOOS in the chapter The Mountain of the Secret, where she is mentioned. In the anime Dororo, the Jorogumo appears as one of the main villains of this animation. In one episode of the anime series, Love, Death plus Robot, the episode...
Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, sorry. The death behind a rift tells the story of a ship lost in space, but in reality, the men on the ship are being devoured, little by a galactic spider woman who controls their minds. In the video game, some bumps are spider demons, Jorogumo Nio. Irizumi art Jorogumo tattoo is a really popular for traditional Japanese tattoo.
I didn't get that video game reference, but yeah, it's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think it was the video game of Love, Death, and Robot, Robot, is I believe the video game it mentioned. What do you think about the story of this terrifying creature? The important thing is that you now know how to act if you encounter one. You know everything about it thanks to us.
Dun, 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 dun.
Burn it with fire.
Well,
sounds the most plausible.
Yeah, burn it with fire. Also, I guess if you're super horny and you're out there and you want to meet a nice Japanese girl, and then she's like luring you into a woods or the alley, maybe ask a couple of follow-up questions.
Just a couple.
How
many legs do you have?
Wear that cologne. Just tell anyone you date that you're totally into the Musk X, that cologne that that fights off the spiders. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jorogumo. Musk X.
I don't know. It just, at the end of the day, it's like, keep it in your pants and don't try to fuck a fairy.
Right. And if you're in love, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, right? So, hey, all those who aren't really in love, don't wander off in the woods in Japan.
It's like, not only are you lonely, but you're also susceptible to being devoured by a giant spider woman.
Oh my God.
Get to work on that.
All right. So isn't Mount Fuji the Suicide Forest? Isn't that the base of Mount Fuji?
I don't remember, but I know Suicide Forest.
Well, long story short, that's where these chicks, these spider women should live, right? Because they're already depressed. So no one in there is going to be like, well, it doesn't say that love has to be reciprocated. So a lot of the sad sacks could be true love with someone.
She comes up like, damn it.
I thought this would be great. They would all be sad sacks, but they're all in true love with someone who doesn't love them. So they're safe from me and still sad.
Well, and it says in the story that they are completely heartless. They have no emotions, these Jorogumo. So it wouldn't even. They would
Not
just
a
be
much
like,
sense of humor either.
just moving on. F it, moving on.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report. So Wesley Snipes is now the record holder for the man who's played a Marvel character longer than anyone else. With his recent cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine, it marks 26 years playing the Blade character. Unlike that Hugh Jackman, he's only done 24 years. Lazy. This has been an Earthling Entertainment Special Report.
To the next.
Well, speaking on moving on to the next, that brings us to our next subject, or excuse me, our next segment, which is...
Ryan's Disclosure Discussion. It's about aliens and stuff.
Alien expert. They don't come in peace.
What?
This comes to us from the Jerusalem Post. Malcolm Robinson is one of the leading alien experts in Britain and wrote over 10 books on the subject after analyzing lots of incidents connected with aliens during the last decades. While, according to him, most alien sightings have relatively simple explanations, Robinson claims that there are still a lot of sightings he could not explain. Talking to the Daily Star, he said, whilst a large proportion of UFOs can be explained away as having natural explanations, only a few remain, and it is to that one small percent that I and my colleagues worldwide are trying to get to the bottom. What is in no doubt is that UFO enigma is real, very real. It has been with us throughout time. We see this in Renaissance paintings and old cave paintings, these strange shapes and entities.
Yes. And it's true, man. I mean, they made a whole show, Ancient Aliens, about it. They have 20 seasons of examples.
Still going.
Of how, yeah, exactly. 20 seasons of examples of how aliens have been visiting us forever. So even if you don't believe they're aliens, something is in the sky. Clearly, there's documented proof.
Quite literally, we do not know what it is.
So it is unidentified, and it is flying, and we're pretty sure it's an object.
Yeah, who the F knows if it's like some other kind of like a different degree that we can't even understand.
And then people want to bitch, right? They're like, well, maybe it's not an object. Okay, excuse me. Then we'll use the new vernacular, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Either way, it's real, guys.
Yeah, they're just, that's their desperate attempt, and I get it, to get rid of the whole, taboo-ness of the word UFO.
Yeah, the stigma of UFO.
Yeah. So, but when asked about what they could want from us humans, Robinson answered, they have an agenda for sure. We can but speculate. I wouldn't say they are peaceful due to the thousands of UFO abductions worldwide.
Yeah. But we don't know, right? Like, what if they're abducting people, not bringing them back, taking them to a wonderful pleasure cruise planet where we all get like palm fronds waved and like fed grapes. Meanwhile, they have like a dumb clone that they drop off and they're like, yeah, there you go.
I mean, that could be it.
The only question is why.
That is a good question, because I can't I don't see the benefit other than like maybe they can monitor through the clone, like the clone's kind of like.
And there's Ryan cracking the case.
Just saying. The renowned researcher was pulled into the world of UFOs when he was only 20 years old, when he tried to prove that all the sightings were invented, and he failed. I started out to disprove these subjects, as I honestly felt there was no validity to UFOs, he explained. So, how wrong was I?
I really always like the people who start out as skeptics and then become believers. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Even
Alan Hynek.
Even the famous, the swamp gas guy, he turned around.
Yep. The Project Blue Book.
Yep.
J. Allen Hynek?
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, I think that's it. We covered him on the podcast before. He was like, he got ridiculed for that. Like, everybody was like, bull crap. But jump back in here. Since then, he began to give presentations in Britain, Europe, and the U.S., where he discussed his theories with people like Amanda Holden and Steven Spielberg. Later, he founded the first association for UFOs and paranormal activity in Scotland, Strange Phenomena Investigations, in 1979. When asked how aliens look, in his opinion, Robinson said that the most frequent sightings that are reported don't look different from the creatures we usually see in films and television.
Yeah, grays.
Yep. These
Yeah.
are small, childlike creatures about 3 to 4 feet in height with a bluey gray translucent skin, large pear-shaped heads, and inky black wraparound eyes. No sign of any genitalia. These small grays, I like that he
Throwing some shade out the aliens.
He had to make sure to mention that. These,
I've never seen, a lot of animals just dangling out there. They might go in.
Yeah,
They
you
might,
never know.
They look like a turtle. Have you ever seen a turtle dick?
Maybe
It's
they're a
fucking
grower.
huge.
These-
I'm just saying.
These aliens are
You're making
growers, not showers.
I mean, you should be happy an alien isn't like really, really horny when he looks at you, and he's got that. All
I
right,
was
he's
gonna-
hiding it from you because he has modesty.
oh my God, yeah, that is a much better option.
Yes.
Let's keep it that way.
I feel like I've gone too far.
Oh my God. These small grays are the most commonly reported entities seen in close proximity to UFOs. His long years of research led him to analyze some dramatic incidents, including the first reported alien abduction that happened on August 17, 1992, where 2 residents of Edinburgh, Gary Wood and Colin Wright, were supposedly abducted.
Now, this is referring to England, not the United States, because we have
Yes.
earlier accounts of people getting abducted.
When he wrote about the incident in one of his best-selling books, Robinson described the pair were subjected to an astonishing and frightening experience, which has stayed with them to this day. They were driving on an A70 road on a stretch described as desolate when they were stopped in front of a 2-tiered disc-shaped object, which looked decidedly out of place. Hovering.
Yeah, that don't
Yeah.
look normal.
That don't look like that. What that? You don't see that every day.
Those, yeah.
Hovering 20 feet above the ground. Some days later, the pair noticed that they had lost their memory and started to suffer from headaches. After a short while, the expert got involved to analyze the incident and sent the 2 to hypnosis in order to get a better understanding of what happened that night. That hypnotherapist was Helen Walters, a dear friend of mine, and someone who would treat both Gary and Colin with the utmost care, he wrote. During the hypnosis, they remembered that 3 small entities took them into the flying object and held them there for a certain period. Robinson concluded their lives may have changed, but they are still the men they were, albeit with a different perspective on life.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something, you become a believer real quick.
So, I mean, that was pretty cool. This guy, Malcolm Robinson, I honestly have never heard his name before, but he sounds like he knows his shit. He's been doing this a long time.
He's written 10 books.
10 books, and he even started, like, the first, like, Bureau of Investigation for it back, what was it, the Strange Phenomena Investigations in 1979.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this
so, yeah,
guy...
he's big. He's definitely doing stuff for the disclosure in England, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. Like, so that's really cool. I'm glad that we had this on the podcast today because, like I said, I've never heard of him. Once again, name is Malcolm Robinson. If you guys want to check him out or any of his 10 books, that's interesting. I'm going to have to check that out.
Definitely. And you know what, guys? Just because we want to, we're going to throw in another one. We're going to give you another disclosure discussion topic. And here it is right now.
USAF flight nurse interviewed alien named Errol. Said Earth was an alien prison before 30,000 BCE. This comes to us from DeshiNewsPost.com. All aliens and UFO mysteries that have appeared in recent decades have been centered on the Roswell disaster. Officially, the extraterrestrial craft that landed in New Mexico in 1947 was never claimed, but many people claim to have seen an alien ship on that day. There are dozens of reports claiming that aliens were recovered and possibly survived the crash. The administration will, without a doubt, constantly deny it. On the other hand, some people and officials accept the aliens' rescue story and believe the UFO crash happened.
Oh man, so I've heard that we had bodies, but I haven't heard very many stories of there's like no living alien, like walking around saying, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like living guy.
I've heard a few. It was a different name. I can't remember the name, but I've heard stories of the surviving pilot from Roswell, and that I heard like one story that he'd survived for freaking years, and he finally passed away, like literally being a roommate with one of the people who lived there and like grew like a relationship with him and stuff like that. Like lived like 6 years after. And then I heard other stories that barely lived a couple days. So it's like, who knows?
Who knows?
According to excerpts from her notes and records, Matilda O'Donnell McElroy.
Oh, there you go. There. She knows.
Senior Master Sergeant, Women's Army Air Force Medical Corps. That's a mouthful.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to get a desk plaque with all that? it's as long as your desk.
Yeah. Interviewed an alien named Errol, who's informed her where they came from and why they came to Earth.
Bom, 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 bom.
Matilda was only 23 years old when she conducted a telepathic conversation with the alien. She was the only one in the base who could communicate with entities using her mind. She discovered during her discussion with Errol that the extraterrestrial was not a biological person, had a female-like appearance, and had not been damaged during the accident. She described the extraterrestrial as being the size of a bit of a child and the only survivor of the ship's 3 crew members who had perished in the crash in New Mexico. Her body was composed of synthetic material, indicating that she was a higher-order being's alien robot.
I've actually heard this a lot, where gray aliens, the reason why they seem frail and they seem like robotic is because they basically are aliens' version of drones.
Yes.
Like they are robots, essentially. And I don't know because I've heard stories where they had like the mantis-like grays on the ships, and they're kind of like telling the little grays what to do. And maybe that's the true appearance of the aliens, or maybe they themselves are also robots, and we haven't even seen the aliens behind it. There's a trippy story. What if these alien drones, these grays, are from another planet far, far away, and it's like Battlestar Galactica, where they're just humans, like they're straight up humans?
It's possible. So like they turn us into the grays.
No, they're using the grays to examine us from a different galaxy.
Okay.
Like they're drones.
Correct. And I've always had the theory, too, that a lot of UFOs that we see could possibly be drones themselves. Like maybe not even manned by grays that are drones, but they're literally just drones. We send robots to other planets. Like, why wouldn't they?
Well, that's kind of my point, right? So they have robots flying ships, and maybe you're right. Maybe some of the ships are drones. Some of the ones that do some of the aeronautical, that's not a word. Some of them who do some of the maneuvers in the sky that we would deem impossible without a sci-fi type inertial dampener to stop you from turning into mush.
Correct.
Maybe they are, maybe they're completely synthetic.
Right. They're just like, atomical. And they're just like, maybe they're just like doing like regular routine, just kind of monitoring.
Yeah, a UFO, lands in a field and it grabs some corn and it's examining it. And there's all these pictures of corn, and they send corn back to their home planet. And their planet's like, my God, we've done it. We found life on another planet. Look, plant life on another planet. And it flies away. And they never even notice the human or the farmer watching.
Nope. They
just like our drones.
They sent Gurr, the drone. The UFO in this was made of the same material as the extraterrestrial body. According to the book Alien Interview from 2008.
Well, then I know how to stop them, Ryan.
Tickle them?
We use the ground.
It's based on Matilda O'Donnell McElroy's notes and documented interviews. The mind and thoughts were in charge. Sorry.
Lawrence, just try that whole paragraph.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop there. The UFO was made of the same material as the extraterrestrial body, according to the book Alien Interview, which is based on Matilda O'Donnell McElroy's notes and documented interviews. The mind and thoughts were in charge, so they get to control with the mind.
Yeah, they telepathically fly the spaceship.
Lawrence R. Spencer, the book's author, claimed to have received a letter from Matilda in which she revealed details concerning the series of conversations with Errol. She said that a species of aliens known as the Domain Expeditionary Force
the Domain Expeditionary
Force.
I don't know how to do it again, Ryan.
The domain
Hold on.
Go ahead. The Domain Expeditionary Force!
had been conducting operations in the solar system for 10,000 years, using the asteroid belt as an intergalactic base.
As one does.
As one
Yeah,
does.
as one does. Yes, well
yes.
done. High five.
High five. We suck at this on the air.
Well, you know what's good? It's good about the asteroid belt is it also there's a lot of things in asteroids, different metals, different materials, different things that we could mine, potentially. So aliens, it would be a great way station because they might be able to get their fuel or anything else they might need from those asteroids.
And giant space worms.
Well, you know what? Just don't fly into their mouths. I'm looking at you, Solo.
Just saying, you damn scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Why is one of those asteroids a potato?
Don't ask questions when it comes to that. Matilda was assigned to the 509th Bomb Wing as a flight nurse. She asked Errol several questions about her civilization, star system, and history. According to their chart, the girl had come from a place called Domain. According to their conversation, as Matilda described it, that area was not just one galaxy's planet, but a galaxy's worth of galaxies.
A domain of galaxies, if you will.
Her home, according to the alien, was full of power, knowledge, and wisdom. Her planet has 3 moons and 2 stars. According to Matilda, the girl did not offer Matilda just about any information or the location of her planet. She was suspicious of military officers' motives. Thus, she refused to reveal any classified information to humans. It was a dangerous sign, according to the nurse, since if aliens did not find a haven on Earth, it could become a significant problem for humanity.
Because they'll just take it.
Right. Errol described her civilization as very powerful, extremely ancient, and only concerned with progress.
We all know being motivated by pure progress has never gone wrong ever.
Ever. Mankind needs to know the answers to questions that are contained in these texts. McElroy stated in the letter, who are we exactly? Where did we originate? What is the purpose of our being on this planet? Why hasn't intelligent life from other parts of the cosmos contacted us? People must comprehend the dire ramifications for our bodily and spiritual survival if we do not take meaningful action to reverse the long-term and widespread impacts of alien activity on Earth. Long before humans, Errol replied when Matilda inquired how long she had been visiting Earth. Matilda wrote in her footnotes, Earth is a small planet orbiting a galaxy's rim star. It geographically isolates Earth from the more concentrated planetary civilizations that dwell toward the galaxy's core.
I could actually see that because the Milky Way, we're on like this weird branch of the Milky Way. We're kind of off to the distance.
We're literally off, like we are the hillbillies of our own galaxy. We're completely on the outside. Like we're on the edge.
If it was Star Wars, we would be on the outer rim.
Pretty much, right? And I actually read somewhere that technically we're kind of like the merging of 2 galaxies in a way, the Milky Way and another galaxy. We're kind of
well, the Milky Way, I believe, in the Andromeda galaxy, but it's gonna be like 1 billion years. But yeah, basically they're gonna hit each other and turn into one super galaxy.
I heard about that, but I heard another theory. I don't know the validity of it. I could look into it for another time.
Yeah,
but
mine's not a theory. Mine is
yours
science.
is 100% true. What one that I heard was that we literally like did merge. Like that's why we're on the edge. Like we actually might potentially be. We like millions and billions of years ago, we might have actually been a part of a whole separate galaxy that merged onto the edge there and kind of became a part of the Milky Way galaxy, and that's why we're on the outside there, kind of crammed in.
Possible. If it can happen in the billion years or a couple billion years, then there's no reason why it couldn't have happened in the past. So
right.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we could be aliens of our own galaxy. We're the aliens. We're from a whole nother galaxy.
Well, we knew that.
That's right. Because of these evident realities, Earth is only appropriate for use as a zoological or botanical garden or as a jail, as it is now.
Yeah, the aliens using us as a jail, kind of like Australia was formed because England was using it as a jail. They just ship off their undesirables to that far off planet, or the zoological or agricultural. That makes sense too. Maybe it's a lot less like South Park played with the idea of, oh, there's a deer planet and a gopher planet and a squirrel planet, and we threw them all together on Earth to see what happens. Maybe that's not too far from the truth. Maybe there's such an eclectic group of animals here because they're all from different worlds, and it's just a zoological experiment, Ryan.
I believe
That'd be
it.
weird.
I've always had that feeling. Like, it feels like we were meant for more. Like we were kind of ditched here, it feels like.
Well, what if UFOs are kind of like, imagine a small submersible, right? That
Yeah.
goes into the water and checks out a coral reef.
Okay.
So what if UFOs are just literally tourists just flying in to look at the silly humans and the silly animals, and then they fly away?
I mean, that tracks. We do that.
Exactly.
So, and we're talking about if they can get here from another dimension or from extremely far away, light years and light years away, then yeah, who knows what the heck they want. And who knows if what we got is rare, right? Like maybe there's a lot of shit here they need.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, sci-fi for simplicity usually goes with water.
Water,
There's
yeah.
actually a surprisingly amount of water. It's just all frozen in space.
Maybe
But
mammals, maybe reptiles, maybe there's something about here that's unique.
yeah,
that-
Battlefield Earth, they came for gold, and that supports the Zacharias Stitchin theory that the Anunnaki were here for gold.
Or maybe for like venom, like
Why,
certain
like
species,
venom from like a random animal,
right? Like maybe certain species create like a kind of venom that they are able to synthesize into something, or I don't know.
I mean, you're going real sci-fi weird with that. I mean, that would be interesting because like a chemical body makeup of an alien species would be different than ours. So what if something that's mildly venomous to us is like cyanide to them, so they come here to get it?
That's what I'm saying. Or maybe they could synthesize it like the way we make anti-venom. Maybe they could use it for medicine for like, good purposes. I don't know.
Maybe it's an aphrodisiac.
Like, who knows? Like, yeah, we're all here on this planet just because of rattlesnake venom. They need it. And the rest of us, they just tolerate. Like, all the rest of this life just sort of happened while we were gone.
You know
But we're just going to take these rattlesnakes.
Knew it.
And the rattlesnakes are just like, welcome back.
I got nothing. I got
It's
silly
been
and stupid.
so long.
All right, calm down, Voldemort.
Just saying. Before 30,000 BCE, Earth was utilized as a landfill and prison for ISBEs.
Okay, hold on. I get prison, but why landfill? Like, what are we? I have not found a bunch of alien plastic. I'm just saying.
Well, who knows what maybe they're just dumping poo and like
No,
then
no.
it just like
Stuff that
fertilized everything.
What if it's stuff that we really like? They're like, God, we can't get enough of this coal. Just throw it down there.
There you go. Like, what are these diamonds doing here? Ugh.
It's like, we can't burn coal. It'll just make the whole planet global warming. We can't do that. Just bury it on Earth.
That's it. Spring cleaning the UFO. So ISBEs were captured in various sections of the old empire, encased in electronic traps and transferred to Earth. On Mars and Earth, amnesia stations were placed underground. Africa's Rwenzori Mountains, Portugal's Pyrenees Mountains, and Mongolia's Stepes Mountains.
All right, you're going to read that whole paragraph over again because we got to unpack that. So now this is sounding a lot more like an L. Ron Hubbard novel.
Yes.
And Scientology than it does.
Okay, so here we go.
All right.
Before 30,000 BCE, Earth was utilized as a landfill and prison for ISBEs deemed untouchable, including criminals and nonconformists. ISBEs were captured in various sections of the old empire, encased in electronic traps, and transferred to Earth. On Mars and Earth, amnesia stations were placed underground. Africa's Rwenzori Mountains, Portugal's Pyrenees Mountains, and Mongolia's Stepes Mountains.
All
So
right.
they put amnesia stations there, and it makes us all forget.
I like the idea of the amnesia stations.
It explains everything. I have no more questions about that. That is 100% true. Moving on. But for real, this is awesome. That got way better. I love this. I love this article. So let's go on with Miss Matilda. Matilda's story sounds like something out of a science fiction film, with her talking about interstellar adventures. ESMA Movies published a short CGI film called The Ex-ESMA 2008 on YouTube in 2009.
Well, they should have called it in 2009 then.
They probably should have.
All right, I think we need to watch that later.
That sounds good. So in this film, in which a deviant infant alien was converted into a human and deported to Earth by ETs after disturbing the peace on their planet. So it was like the Jar Jar of them, and then it just turned them into a human. And
they
sent
gave it
here.
plastic surgery, told it was a human, brainwashed it, put it and forget, like send them to the amnesia chambers, and then off to Earth.
And now we're stuck with it.
I really do hope like that is the origin of man, because we still do have a missing link, you know? So whether it was aliens messing with monkey DNA, adding their own DNA to make, you know, humans, modern day humans, like a lot of ancient alien theorists believe, maybe we're just cloned human bodies and alien brains that have been brainwashed in a amnesia chamber and thrown on Earth like, you know, trash.
Or like, you know, the great burning of like the big library or whatever. They say we lost like tons of freaking texts and shit. Yeah, so who knows, man? What if like that was pretty much
King Solomon's library?
I forget, but I just know it was a big deal and that we literally like up until like everything up till that point was lost. Like it was devastating.
A lot of knowledge in
like
history,
who knows? Sure. Who knows what was in there? There could have totally been like
the Library of Alexandria, I think.
Yeah, it could have totally been so much that we missed out, like when it comes to UFOs and stuff.
Can you imagine though? It's like part of a scroll like survived. We find it and you're reading it. You're like, oh shit, guys, we are brainwashed aliens.
Like, right? Like, what
says it right here?
It's like right. It's like on the cover. We were brainwashed by aliens. The film is an odd notion, but it reminds us of Matilda's description of Earth as a jail for IBEs who were thrown here and encased in those electronic traps.
This seriously sounds so much like Scientology at that point.
We've got a letter here. The following is excerpted from a letter I received from Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, Senior Master Sergeant, Women's Army Air Force Medical Corps, retired. As you know, in July 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating that the personnel from the field's 509th Bomb Group had recovered a crashed flying disc from a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico, sparking intense media interest. When the news that there had been a crash was received at the base, I was asked to accompany Mr. Kavit, the counterintelligence officer, to the crash test site as the driver of his vehicle, and to render emergency medical assistance to any survivors if necessary. When we arrived, I learned that one of the 4 personnel on board the craft had survived the crash and was conscious and apparently uninjured. I immediately detected that the alien being was attempting to communicate with me by mental images or telepathic thought. I reported this phenomenon to Mr. Kavit, as no other person present would perceive these thoughts, and the alien seemed able to and willing to communicate with me. It was decided after a brief consultation with a senior officer that I would accompany the surviving alien back to the base. My duty was to communicate with the alien and to make a complete report of all that I discovered to command authorities. Subsequently, I was supplied with specific lists of questions provided to me by military and non-military personnel, which I was able to interpret for the alien and record the responses to questions provided. Mankind needs to know the answers to questions which are contained in these documents. Who are we? Where did we come from? What is our purpose on Earth? If there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe, why have they not contacted us? It is vital that people understand the devastating consequences to our physical and spiritual survival if we fail to take effective action to undo the long-standing and pervasive effects of alien intervention on Earth. Signed, Matilda O'Donnell McElroy. August 12th, 2007.
So definitely one of the more out there stories, but I do love it because there is, there's obviously record of her being there. So if she is just making it all up, she was in a perfect place to do so. But, why think she was making it up? Maybe all of that is true. Maybe we are from, different planet and we've been brainwashed in those amnesia stations. Obviously that seems far-fetched, but you never do know, because pick any religion at all. I don't care. I'm not picking on any of them. And just read some of the old stories. Nothing in there is going to be any less crazy.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
And this is a different person. I haven't heard of her that's claimed that she was the one who interviewed the survivor, and Errol's a totally different name that I haven't heard before. So who knows? Maybe this is the true story.
I'm going to check out her book, man.
I mean, it sounds hers and the other dudes. I mean, we got we did a pretty good disclosure discussion today, sir. A lot to discuss.
A lot to discuss. And that brings us to the latter half of the episode. All right, guys, are you ready for part 2? Because this is Everything Entertainment with our first segment,
Music Mumbles.
Aerosmith announces retirement from touring, says Steven Tyler's recovery from his vocal injury is just not possible. This comes to us from Variety.com. Aerosmith has played its final gigs. The band announced Friday that they have canceled all remaining concert dates and are officially retired from touring because singer Steven Tyler's recovery from his vocal injury is not possible. It has been the dude, it hits hard.
He's a singer, you know. That's everything. And do you know what his vocal injury was?
Yes, I heard he damaged his larynx last year singing. And I mean, he's always been known as like the most famous like raspy styled singer. Like all of his shit is like, and he does like the like he does like some pretty brutal like shit. So you know, and you've been doing it for so long and just so many tours.
It's like a football player blowing out their knee, man.
And myself being like, when I was doing like my death metal shit, which was true screaming, like to do a 45-minute set was killing me. These guys like what, play like 2 hours? You know, like
for years upon years.
Every day. Like that takes its toll.
So he blew a tire.
Yep. And now the lyrics to Dream On really must hit home for him. Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer. Like talking about getting older. Yeah. And like that's heavy shit. It has been the honor of our lives to have our music become a part of yours, the group declared in a social media post that reads like a farewell statement.
Yeah, and then we actually have, I printed up the actual statement they released. So that last line is going to be repeated, but the rest is their official statement on, I believe it was their X post.
It was 1970 when a spark of inspiration became Aerosmith. Thanks to you, our Blue Army, that spark caught flame and has been burning for over 5 decades. Some of you have been with us since the beginning, and all of you are the reason we made rock and roll history. It has been the honor of our lives to have our music become part of yours. In every club, on every massive tour, and at every moment, grand and private, you have given us a place in the soundtrack of your lives. We've always wanted to blow your mind when performing. As you know, Steven's voice is an instrument like no other. He has spent months tirelessly working on getting his voice to where it was before his injury. We've seen him struggling, despite having the best medical team by his side. Sadly, it is clear that a full recovery from his vocal injury is not possible. We have made a heartbreaking and difficult but necessary decision as a band of brothers to retire from the touring stage. We are grateful beyond words for everyone who was pumped to get on the road with us one last time. Grateful to our expert crew, our incredible team, and the thousands of talented people who have made our historic runs possible. A final thank you to you, the best fans on planet Earth. Play our music loud, now and always. Dream on. You've made our dreams come true. I got a little goosebumps on that.
Yeah, man, that hits hard.
I mean, dude, what an iconic band.
Such an iconic band.
They'll be played for, like, that's timeless.
I mean, for as long as we have the recordings, I imagine they will be played. Yeah.
And they always get a resurgence. And I mean, the guy, you know, kept himself in the public eye. You know, he was a judge for, I forget what it was, America's Got Talent, or what was it like?
Yeah, Steven Tyler.
Yeah, you know, and he was able to do a lot of stuff there. I know they released an album around that time, and they've continued to tour. And, you know, it's just, they're just so iconic. I remember they even released their own Guitar Hero game. And
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And I remember when that came out, they got like a whole new resurgence of young fans who were realizing, oh man, these riffs are awesome. Like,
absolutely. You know what's funny is they got me when I was young too. And you know, like in my head growing up, like I knew of Aerosmith and I knew that they were like a big band. And you want to know why? The movie Wayne's World 2.
yes.
Because when Wayne's World 2 came out, I was very young and very impressionable. And this whole movie is about the character Wayne trying to throw a concert. He wants to throw Wayne stock.
Yes.
And the band that, you know, now as an adult, I realize, oh, we only got to see one band because you only wanted to pay one band. But they
Right.
kind of like made it seem like they're going to be a huge festival. But you only ever see Aerosmith. And at the end, they come out, they sing their song, and there's credits. And it was like, yeah. They did it. Aerosmith is rocking.
I think my first with Aerosmith was Mrs. Doubtfire when she's vacuuming. Dude looks like a lady.
That's funny.
Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And and also I remember being young going to Disney World and they had the Aerosmith rock and roller coaster where when you walk in, it's like a video, but it looks like you're looking into the studio and they're like remixing Walk This Way.
I don't think I ever been to that.
It was
Disney
awesome.
World.
And I got to ride that 2 years ago when I brought my kids.
Oh, that is a treasured memory.
Dude, it was sick. It was and it was a fun roller coaster and man, R.I.P. dude, like what a huge part of our lives and
I'm sorry to hear that his voice got so damaged. That,
God, that's
it
got
said he'll never fully recover. Just means his voice sounds different. It doesn't mean it sounds horrible, but it kind of feels like it's probably pretty rough.
man. And as a professional singer, man, that's got to be like that's so devastating. That's your instrument, like, and it's broken beyond repair. You tried everything you could. It's devastating, man.
Yeah.
Well, R.I.P. Aerosmith, but man, Steven Tyler, we wish you the best, dude. Keep it up.
Totally. And Steven Tyler, one other thing. Where is your daughter? I haven't seen her in a movie in a while, and I like Liv Tyler.
I was gonna say she's awesome.
Yeah.
In fucking Lord of the Rings and
yeah,
fucking
she gets
Armageddon
she
was
gets
amazing.
a forever pass for her early 2000s work.
Bro, Armageddon was a timeless classic. Timeless.
I know. I got nothing. I was gonna make a joke about the porn Armageddon on, but forget it.
I almost just spit my freaking water. Oh my god.
My bad.
Moving on. So, I think that takes us to headline.
Oh shit! Here we go, guys. It's headline.
Earthling Entertainment headlines.
Bill and Ted's Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter to reunite on Broadway.
Ha ha.
This comes to us from IGN.com. Bill and Ted stars Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are teaming up once again for a Broadway production of Waiting for Godot.
Godot.
Godot?
Godot.
Jamie Lloyd is directing the play, which was originally written by Samuel Beckett. Details on the rest of the cast and how they will bring the classic production to modern audiences are unknown, though it has been revealed that Reeves will play Estragon, with Winter tapped as Vladimir via Deadline, until it arrives in the fall of 2025. It is a real honor to be collaborating with the brilliant Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter on Samuel Beckett's sublime masterpiece, one of the greatest plays of all time, Lloyd said in a statement. Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot tells its story in its name. It centers on Vladimir and Estragon as they pass the time while waiting for a person named Godot, hoping that their delayed arrival gives them the satisfaction they seek. It received a film adaptation starring Ethan Hawke, Wallace Shawn, John Leguizamo, and Tariq Trotter in 2021. Winter and Reeves have most notably partnered on the Bill and Ted trilogy, which sees the duo going on time-hopping adventures through history. The series got its start with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 1989.
Great movie.
The best. A sequel titled Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Underrated sequel.
Arrived a few years later, with both movies premiering long before Reeves' career evolved in the late 90s. A long-awaited third film, Bill and Ted's Face the Music.
Honestly, my favorite.
Saw the pair reunite in 2020. When remembering his time on Bill and Ted series during the Late Show with Stephen Colbert last week, the Matrix star said his memories of filming with Winter hold a special place in his heart. We're incredibly excited to be on stage together and work with the great Jamie Lloyd in one of our favorite plays, Winter and Reeves said in a joint statement.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've not heard of the play, and the only reason why we covered this story is because I like the Bill and Ted movies so much.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That tracks. It's really funny to hear of them like joining together to not be Bill and Ted.
Hey man, why not? Right? You think it was probably the people throwing the play together? They're like, they got one of them, and they're like, you know who else we should get?
Well, and I mean, if you're looking for a duo, you know they've got chemistry.
Exactly.
So it does make sense.
So it might be very, very good planning, actually.
It might be. That sounds about right.
All right, guys. So, if you have an opinion on this, what do you think? Please tell us on Facebook, or you could email us at earthlingentertainment@gmail.com. But in the meantime, this brings us to headline number 2. Are you ready? We're ready. Here it is.
Ryan Reynolds reveals Nicolas Cage almost reprised this iconic Marvel role in Deadpool and Wolverine. This comes to us from Collider.com. Not only is it the third installment in the standalone franchise, a fresh breath of hope and change for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and a conduit through which money is flowing back into the box office, but at its heart, Deadpool and Wolverine is an ode to the Marvel movies made under 20th Century Fox. Many of the actors and characters outside the MCU never got to see their stories play out, which wasn't only difficult for the performers, but also for the fans to whom those stories meant so much. So, when Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy...
Sean Levy.
Levy. Wow, I am so terrible at that. Sean Levy set out to create what would ultimately become...
That's the director, by the way, of Deadpool and Wolverine, Sean Levy.
My man. What would ultimately become Deadpool and Wolverine? They did so with this in mind. Along with Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, there were plenty of other incredible moments that wove the likes of Jennifer Garner's Elektra and Wesley Snipes' Blade into the storyline. Yet, there were still numerous faces that didn't appear, which makes sense, as not everyone could be worked into the story without turning it into an overly gratuitous mishmash of cameos.
Yes, but I will say, as I have seen Deadpool and Wolverine now, and I did very much enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did expect to see more cameos. It really, at the end of the day, it boiled down to maybe 10 cameos and maybe only 4 that mattered. But I did expect everybody. Like Holly Berry was, she got her haircut like she had in Storm when she played Storm around the time they were filming. It was rumored she was going to be in it. James Marsden was close to the set, and there was rumors he was going to be in it. There's so many people. So we don't know what's on the cutting room floor. We also don't know if maybe they were recording some footage now in Deadpool and Wolverine so we could secretly use it later for Marvel's Avengers Secret Wars, and able to keep those cameos under wraps. Maybe they're recording them 5 years earlier. But it's just altogether, I just expected more people. I don't know. The hype leading up to this movie was just all these rumors of everyone who was going to be in it. So when I finally saw it, I will admit that aspect of the film, I was underwhelmed.
And I think we were talking about it before, and that's why I think expectation, like when you get, something's really blown up and stuff like that, I feel like that actually can affect how you enjoy a movie. If something's been so overhyped and you heard so much, so you go in there with this expectation, and you shouldn't. You should just go to the film to watch a film.
No, you're right. I think I would have liked it more if it wasn't for everyone saying it's going to be the greatest movie ever grace our screens.
The one funny guy from Workaholics was supposed to be a cameo. He was supposed to be one of the soldiers that he fights. Like one of the dudes that comes from the Institute or whatever it's called.
From the TVA.
Yeah, and he was the funny one. The one he does stand up. So I think he's like the chubbier guy. But the dude from Workaholics. But no, I saw him in the whole getup. Like he literally went, filmed and everything, and he made like a tweet being like, "Yep, that's me in the outfit. Yes, I was on the set, and no, I was not involved in the film. They cut it out."
Well, Ron McElhenney or whatever his name is, the guy from It's Always Sunny, he played one of the TVA soldiers as well.
Oh, maybe that's who I'm thinking of. I must be thinking of him.
Okay, yeah.
My mistake. And then, yeah, it wasn't Workaholics. I got that mixed up.
Okay, It's Always Sunny. Ron
Yeah, it was.
McElhenney. Yeah.
That was it. Thank you very much. I don't know why my brain mixed those two up. So heading into a conversation with Reynolds and Levy, following the release of the movie, Collider's editor-in-chief, Steve Weintraub, came prepared with a multitude of questions, including one about a fan favorite face who was MIA. That ex-member of Sony's wing of Marvel was Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. When asked if the team had ever thought of bringing Cage in to reprise his role as the Ghost Rider, Reynolds gave a simple yes, adding that things came to a conversation for sure, but yeah, no. That for a
It's really not bad, Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you. Thank you. For a man known for his outgoing personality, Reynolds kept a pretty tight lip on further details surrounding the interaction with the legendary movie star. This point doesn't really need much of an explanation. It obviously would have been really rad to have seen Cage revving up his bike and raising holy hell in Deadpool and Wolverine. Plus, unlike some other movies that fell outside the MCU umbrella, the Ghost Rider series was largely well received by the fandom. I know I loved it.
Yeah, I like the second one better than the first one, but yeah, I liked them both.
And because Reynolds doesn't go into detail, we'll never truly know what stopped Cage from hopping back into the role of Johnny Blaze. There are likely a multitude of reasons surrounding the missed out on cameo, but we can't help but think how unhappy the face-off actor was with his brief appearance in last summer's The Flash as the Tim Burton Superman who never was. Who knows? Maybe that experience officially soured him on similar opportunities for good.
Yeah, because I know he wasn't happy with his cameo in The Flash, so that's what they're saying. They're like, maybe he didn't want to do another cameo because, this one didn't really work out.
Well, and Deadpool just makes fun of you. So, maybe he wasn't ready.
True. But also, it depends, right? Because what is a cameo versus what is a role in the film? Because I feel like a lot of the things we're calling cameos are not cameos. Daphne Keene as X-23 is not a cameo. She plays her part. She plays the character. Same with Elektra.
I kind of felt that way too.
Blade. They were characters in the movie. Gambit, who is Channing Tatum.
To me, a cameo would be the dude from It's Always Sunny. That's a cameo.
Well, a cameo would be the villains, essentially, because, like Sabretooth showed up. He's in there for a couple seconds. He gets his head cut off. Toad was there.
That was
remember?
sick. That was cool.
It even had I forget the character's name, but she was a villain in X2, the second X-Men movie, where she had Wolverine-like powers, but she had the blades coming out of her fingertips. But she was there as well.
I don't know. I guess I missed that.
Yeah, Pyro was there from X2. Yeah.
Yep.
Once again, he was a role, though. He interacted with the villains and the heroes. He had a role.
And spoiler alert on the whole plot, but yeah, they were all sent there from their, so they are them. They were literally sent there from their
dimension. Yeah, they are the characters from their movies, for sure.
Right. So, yeah, I agree with you, because I remember feeling that way, too, when I'm like, it's less of a cameo and more of just bringing a character back.
Yeah, like, Blade played Blade. He wasn't in a lot of the movie, but he, a cameo is like one quick scene where someone says something, not a conversation and then another scene and then another scene and then a fight scene. That is a role.
Right. So I haven't even heard of this.
What this next? Okay, so you guys, headline number 3 is apparently a television show that Ryan has never heard of.
Which is odd because I am a nerd. First images from Star Wars Skeleton Crew. This comes to us from Nerdist.com. We just finished enjoying Star Wars The Acolyte, but already it's time to gear up for the next Star Wars original series coming to Disney+, Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Star Wars Skeleton Crew has officially set its release date for December 3rd. So that's still a while away. But,
not really.
Yeah, not really. But its first look images have us very excited. We are already feeling the energy of the Amblin 80s movies that serve as inspiration for the series.
Yeah, what they're saying is, you know how Spielberg always has that group of kids that are adventurers, the Goonies type thing.
That's
the feels you're going to get from this Star Wars show.
That's what it says right here. The Goonies, Gremlins, and E.T. are whispering to us through these Skeleton Crew first look images, which we saw via People. They are saying Star Wars meets Amblin. We love it. You can take a look at all the Star Wars Skeleton Crew first images, but we'll post them on ours.
Yeah, we're going to post them online, but if you want to check out Nerdist.com, you can also check them out there. We have them here, and it's basically Jude Law hanging out with a bunch of grade school kids, it looks like.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, this looks awesome. I'm excited for that. Like I said, I haven't even heard of this.
There's another image where they're riding what is it called? A hover bike? What is it?
Swoop?
Nice.
Yeah, it's got to be a swoop.
Very cool.
When asked to describe the series, Law noted that the first word that comes to my mind is joyful. Additionally, he reveals it is a fun place to be. The universe of Star Wars, and there are great references to old films and recent episodes and series. There's a lot of originality, and I hope that I will bring the feeling of fun to those who watch it. He shares that his own character, Jod, is someone who uses quick thinking and charm and conversation to get out of all sorts of scenarios.
So he's basically a Han Solo type.
Yeah, I was going to say we get another scoundrel.
Yeah.
Additionally, creator John Watts describes a new droid that will join the Skeleton Crew series, SM-33. SM-33 will be voiced by Nick Frost. Watts shares, he's like a rusty, old, cranky droid that sort of reluctantly helps the kids along the way. The other thing about him is that he's the first mate of a mysterious ship. It's possible we get a glimpse of SM-33 in these first Star Wars Skeleton Crew images. Yep, I see him right there. I see a droid. What looks to be a droid.
It's a droid, so yeah, we're not sure if it's that character. But
correct. In addition to the first look images for Star Wars Skeleton Crew, here's the synopsis for the series. Skeleton Crew follows the journey of 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery on their seemingly safe home planet, then get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy. Finding their way home and meeting unlikely allies and enemies will be a greater adventure than they ever imagined. Star Wars Skeleton Crew's release date is December 3rd, 2024.
So if you're a fan of the live-action Star Wars series, hey, you got another one coming. And if you're like, a lot of people out there where there's sometimes hit or miss for you, the great thing about these shows is they all are very different tones, and they're trying different things. So there's something for everybody.
And it's different writers, different directors. So, yeah, don't expect the same thing. Again, you're not going to get what you got from Ahsoka that you got from the Acolyte that you're going to get with this.
Exactly.
So, moving on, we have headline number 4.
Headline number 4.
Sony Santa Monica is...
Santa Monica.
Come
on, man.
Oh, man, dude, I'm the worst. Is making first new IP in over 20 years.
Yeah, long story short, there's a division of Sony that it runs out of Santa Monica, and there's Sony Santa Monica. You know, from that one song from Sublime.
Yeah, I know, I'm terrible. This comes to us from Eurogamer.net. God of War Studio Sony Santa Monica is developing its first new IP in over 20 years, as spotted by a member of Reset Era, a developer at Sony Santa Monica. Mentioned they've been working at the studio looking after the entire character development pipeline on their new IP. In the About section of their LinkedIn profile, a developer supervising character development said they were thrilled to be back at Santa Monica after a brief departure to work at Striking Distance and Unknown Worlds. Santa Monica Studios presented the opportunity of coming back as character supervisor, looking after the entire character development pipeline on their new IP. So, here I am, thrilled to be back, working again with the crew and pushing characters in video games together, the developer said. As you no doubt expect, the dev stopped short of revealing what exactly the IP is or even what kind of characters they were developing. The studio's debut game was PS2 Racer Kinetica in 2001, but since the first God of War in 2005, Sony Santa Monica's worked solely on that series, besides assisting development on other projects. A brand new franchise, then, is an intriguing prospect.
It is an intriguing project. That's 19 years of only doing God of War stuff. And here's the really funny thing is this guy mentioned it in his LinkedIn profile. So because he wrote it in his LinkedIn profile, be like, oh, I'm working at Santa Monica Studios and working on their new IP. Like, that is not, if that is news, he might be in trouble is all I'm saying. It's a weird way to get a leak. And
maybe he might have been given permission.
He could have also been just embellishing, just be like, yeah, I'm working on the new stuff. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Or maybe
it's LinkedIn.
Maybe his assistant just put it in too early onto the LinkedIn.
This is why you don't have AI write your profile.
Yeah, these are the problems we're running into. We're gonna get the hang of it. We're all new to this.
So yeah, guys, tell us what you think, man. Are you excited about the idea of them, Sony Santa Monica working on a different IP? I mean, does this actually mean nothing to you because Sony is Sony and Sony does a lot of different stuff? Who cares if this one branch is working on something new?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel?
I've never played God of War, but I've seen so many cutscenes of it and shit like that. Like, it looks awesome. Like, and people who have played it and like played all the games swear by it,
Well, you know what I thought was really funny is I only played one game, and it was called God of War Chains of Olympus, and I played it on my PSP back in the day.
Nice.
And I remember playing it, and they have a sex scene with boobs, and I was just like,
boobs.
I'm like 19 or whatever, and I'm just like playing this handheld game, and I just remember nodding my head, just going like, how far we've come. Good handheld systems. Good.
What a world we live in.
I'm sitting there thinking like, the treasures the future has hold. No, I just thought it was really weird that they had a rated M for mature game on a handheld system, because handheld systems, in my head, you give them to your kid and let them play so you could be left alone back in the day, right? How many adults, granted I was 19, have handheld systems, right? Back then.
Right.
So I thought it was weird they just had a mature game is all I'm saying.
No, I agree. That's I'm sure many parents unknowingly gave their kids boobies in a game. God of War.
Well,
movies.
If it's not that, it's Friday the 13th movies. God bless
that's
pop culture.
That explains a lot of the reasons why there's stuff wrong with me, Joe. I think that was probably the first boobs I ever saw were in Friday the 13th.
It's weird. Every time Ryan sees a pair of boobs, he just gets really worried that the girl's about to die.
Run! You're all gonna die.
And with that, it brings us to our final headline of the show. Ryan, take it away.
Headline 5.
Headline 5. Not to be confused with Line Head 5.
Line Head 5. Not as good as Headline 5. The Last of Us Season 2 teaser trailer sees Joel reckoning with his big decision from Season 1. This comes to us from IGN.com. Alongside the Season 2 finale for House of the Dragon, Max has given us our first look at the much-anticipated second season of The Last of Us. While there isn't much footage, the scenes packed in those few seconds pack quite a punch. Not only do we get to see Caitlin Devers, Abby, Catherine O'Hara's currently unknown character, Jeffrey Wright reprising his role as Isaac, and Isabella Merced as Dina, but we also get to see Joel reckoning with his big decision from Season 1. Also in the trailer was a glimpse at a flashback from The Last of Us Part 2 that takes place at a party in a barn in Jackson. Even though the few seconds of footage, it's exciting to see both familiar and new moments. We don't have an exact date for The Last of Us Season 2, but we do know it will be headed our way in 2025.
Yeah, so this is very much a tweezer. A tweezer.
A
tweezer. This is very much a teaser. It was released on Twitter, X, and it was only a 25-second trailer, and it was basically a bunch of really fast images of action with Kathleen O'Hara's character looking at Joel just being like, what did you do? Did you kill her? And he's like, no, I saved her. Because, spoiler for Season 1 of The Last of Us, or the game, that show ends where basically Ellie may have in her brain chemistry something in her that could create a vaccine, but they would have to dissect her. And he's like, no, you're not going to kill her. And he saves her, but that may have doomed humanity.
And she wanted
She would have done it. Most people would. Like, I don't want to die, but if it's like I could save the entire planet by getting my brain dissected, how many people could say no?
Yeah. Yeah. I know, and that's right, because I only watched the season one time, and you're right. I was kind of drawing a blank here. I'm like, how did it end? Oh yeah, that's what he did. He literally killed everybody in that place that could possibly synthesize some kind of antidote from her.
Yeah, and I'm sure most people know, but there's a big event that happens in the second game, which I imagine, because the second game is going to be spread out between 2 seasons of the show, and they have this very dramatic point in the game that just, I don't want to spoil it, but I think that'll be the end of the season 2. It's a major death, and it's a big dramatic point, and the person who is doing the perpetrating, suddenly the rest of the game follows their character and like their perspective, and this person who just, you know, brutally attacked a character you love, now you get to see why they did it.
Okay.
And that's the whole second game. So it's going to be an interesting season 2, to say the least. But I'm excited. This is essentially just telling you it's coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's coming out next year. Here's a little bit of footage.
And we watched it before the podcast today. It looks pretty cool. You should go check it out.
Absolutely. And, you know, guys, that brings us to the end of the show. Sadly. Yeah. A little bit of a short one this week, but that's because last week we gave you that big extra chunk after the credits. But none of that today.
We spared no expense on the spooky or the entertainment here at Earthling Entertainment. Just for you.
Oh, man. Yeah, guys, so thanks for listening. If you want to support the show, the best way to do it is to download the episodes. It doesn't matter where you listen to the podcast, just download it. And yeah, Ryan has a little message telling you he has a mission for you.
My mission for you is to tell your friends about us. Do you have a friend that likes UFOs? Do they like paranormal stuff? Everybody has a little bit of something, and you know what? We cover quite a bit here on the podcast. If you listen, please share it with your friends, share it with your family, tell them to download it as well. And please, if you actually have any questions, or if you have something you want to talk about, or did you see something? Did you get contacted? Do you have a story you want to share? Please, honestly, the best way to hit us up is on our Facebook, Earthling Entertainment. On Facebook, just message us, and we will get back to you quickly.
You could also hit us up at earthlingentertainment@gmail.com. All right, guys. So for all of you out there who listen, continue to listen, thanks. And we'll see you next week.
See you later.
Bye. Goodbye.
Earthling Entertainment Special Report! Apparently the reverb is on. Woo! Fucking reverb. Hello? Hello? There we go.